Guys, Big Daddy Juan here. Today we're going to be doing another NBA video, and today I'm going to be talking about why I think the Timberwolves are the one team that can actually beat the Warriors. Now, I know it might sound crazy because the Timberwolves, they couldn't even make the playoffs last year. They actually had a very disappointing season due to the fact they had two former #1 overall picks in Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. Now, while they had a good season respectively, the rest of the team was complete shit. But I'm going to show you guys a quick picture showing you who they lost and who they got this offseason. Alright, so right here you can see the losses and additions that the Minnesota Timberwolves have made this offseason. So they did lose Zach LaVine and Kris Dunn via trade, and they trade him away for Jimmy Butler, which, I mean, I think that's a pretty good turnout. You get one of the best players in the league, I'd say a top 15 players, and one of the best defenders in the league, and I'll say why that's really important later on in the video. You also get rid of Ricky Rubio, who, while Ricky Rubio wasn't doing bad, he wasn't worth the $15 million a year he was getting, and they replaced him with Jeff Teague. Now, Jeff Teague does have less assists and the same rebounds, but he does score more. He's more of a facilitator. He might not have the passing ability that Ricky Rubio has, but Jeff Teague, in my opinion, is a great improvement. Jamal Crawford, I guess you could say he's an improvement from Kris Dunn, but I mean, I don't really think he's replacing Kris Dunn, but he's averaging 12.3 points per game, 2.5 assists, and 1.5 rebounds. While he may be aging, he's still got it, and I think he's shown that with the Clippers these past few seasons. And the last signing they've made, or the most recent one, well, actually the most recent one was Jamal Crawford, but the one before that was they signed Taj Gibson to a 2-year, $14 million deal. He's averaging 9 points a game, close to 5 rebounds, and close to 1 assist. And overall, I think that, you know, they've made good moves this offseason. I definitely think they've had the best offseason of any NBA team this summer. So, a big thing that made the Minnesota Timberwolves really bad last season was they just had little to no veteran leadership. I mean, come on, Nikola fucking Pekovic, that's got to be a joke. So I think that they added 4 players that I think can provide a good amount of veteran leadership in Jeff Teague, Jamal Crawford, Jimmy Butler, and Taj Gibson. Now, Taj Gibson and Jamal Crawford, while they may be old, they can still produce as well as provide locker room leadership. But overall, I think that having veterans will improve their chances of making the playoffs. Well, I think they're guaranteed to make the playoffs at this point, but I think that it improves their chances of being a title contender. So, aside from having little to no veteran leadership, the Minnesota Timberwolves were also complete shit on the defensive end of the court. And to prove it, Karl-Anthony Towns was ranked 383rd on defense plus minus. Andrew Wiggins was ranked 460th. Shabazz Muhammad was ranked 462nd. And they just added Jamal Crawford, who was ranked 461st. However, a bright spot to their defense last year was that Gorgui Dieng was ranked 12th. So that's definitely something to look forward to. But they did add Taj Gibson, who ranks 44th. Jimmy Butler, who ranks 58th. And Jeff Teague, he ranks 244, but that's better than what Rubio was. And so Jimmy Butler, I think that him being a veteran, him being a top 15 player, I think he's going to get in Wiggins' head. Like, you know, I think Wiggins is going to start playing defense because of Jimmy Butler. Mark my words on that. And I think Karl-Anthony Towns, he's also going to be affected by Jimmy Butler. But he'll also be affected by Taj Gibson because Taj Gibson's a big man. So I think that the veteran leadership will really help this team. So enough about the offseason. I do believe that the Timberwolves do have the best shot of beating the Warriors for the simple reason that the Warriors do not play that well against physical teams. I mean, let's just look at who they played in the playoffs this season. They played Portland, not physical at all. Utah, aside from Rudy Gobert, they really weren't physical. San Antonio Spurs. Now, I think the Spurs actually, like, realistically could have beat them, but I mean, you know, Kawhi got injured, so that was ultimately a blow for the Spurs. And I mean, they play the Cavs. While the Cavs are a great offensive team, they have little to no defensive presence. So I think that, you know, they didn't really get challenged in the postseason. But in the regular season, the two teams that beat them multiple times were two of the most physical teams in the NBA, which are the San Antonio Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Timberwolves did beat them. In fact, they did beat them 103-102. And this year, I think they're going to be beating them multiple times, because I think this year's Minnesota Timberwolves team is going to be a very physical team, a very hard team to deal with, just for the simple fact that they added Jimmy Butler and Taj Gibson, and they already have Gorgui Dieng down low. So I think that they're going to be a real physical team. I think they're going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league. And they're definitely going to have offense with Karl-Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Jimmy Butler, Jeff Teague. They're going to be a great all-around team. And I think they match up well against the Golden State Warriors. And I think that if they were to play, I know Tom Thibodeau would definitely put Jimmy Butler on Steph, because I think Jimmy Butler will lock Steph up. He'll put Jeff Teague on Klay Thompson. Now, that might be a mismatch, but this previous postseason, Klay Thompson was actually quite inconsistent, so I don't think that would be a factor. And, I mean, no one can guard Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, really no one can guard him. And I think Andrew Wiggins will be guarding Kevin Durant. And I think if Andrew Wiggins becomes a better defender, he takes that big step, because he definitely has the tools to be an elite defender. I mean, he is 6'9", 200 pounds, and he has a 7-foot wingspan, so he definitely has all the tangibles to make him an elite defender. And I think with Jimmy Butler on the wing, he'll just be a much better defender. So I don't think he'll contain KD. I just think that he'll, bother KD. I mean, KD will still get his own, trust me on that. But I think that'll be a good matchup. And, Gorgui Dieng, I think he's going to expose Draymond Green. I think he's just going to expose him. And aside from the fact that they can't guard Karl-Anthony Towns, I think that they have a pretty good bench. They have Shabazz Muhammad, who's going to give you 9 points and 3 rebounds every night. They're going to have Taj Gibson or Gorgui Dieng, one of the two. I'm leaning towards Taj Gibson, and he's going to provide you with 9 points and 3 rebounds. They're also going to have, I can't pronounce it, it's like Jenka or whatever. He gives you 6 and 3. So I think that they have a pretty good bench that they'll match up pretty well against the Warriors. But overall, I think Karl-Anthony Towns is the huge X factor. And, for all those reasons I've listed, I think the Timberwolves have a great shot at beating the Warriors. Now, one thing that might prevent them from beating the Warriors is chemistry, because, we haven't seen this team play together, and that's just the reality of it. So until we see this team play together, I don't think we can really make, assumptions. But assuming that everything goes right, I think that the Timberwolves will be the Warriors' biggest problems. And overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and it's been Big Daddy Juan.